So as a parent, what kind of lessons did you kind of learn from your father about fatherhood? I heard this really nice quote. I read it that by the time you realize your father was wrong, you've got a son. By the time you realize your father was right, you've got a son telling you you're wrong.
It's a brilliant quote. That's a brilliant quote.
Yeah. And I'm always thinking about that, about thinking ahead, because my kids, they're not teenagers yet. My eldest is almost 10, mashallah. So I'm just thinking ahead, how to, because for me the more important things are in tarbiyah, in raising our children, are not necessarily exactly what you tell them, but the kind of messages that they just absorb from you, and the feelings and the narratives and the stories and the sentiments that you kind of imbue into them. And I'm trying to think, what was it about people in our father's generation? You kind of get a sense of pride in your, like you mentioned, the lesson behind the lesson, i.e. being confident in your identity, being proud of who you are. This is despite being in an overtly hostile place. Do you think it's because of that hostility that it made the previous generation double down in preserving the identity and the iman and the even in your family kind of tree? Is it because of that hostility? Or
I think that I think they faced less hostility in terms of because they weren't growing up with the kids competing for spaces, competing for power or money or wealth. They were kind of the immigrant generation, but for us, we were competing with local kids, and so that's where the animosity happened. And so we faced that. We were our parents, I think, were very clear in their identity. They knew exactly who they were. We were conflicted. British, Muslim, Asian, Pakistani, Indian, whatever.
Wait, did your father and your mother, did they feel that they were going to go back home one day, or?
So my mother died when I was 6. Allah yarhamha. So there was none of that kind of. And going back home really was. My father and his family, they were muhajir, so they made hijrah from India proper, from Hyderabad, Deccan, to Pakistan. So then they made another hijrah. So I don't think there was no sense of going back home. It was, this is it, we planted our feet here, this is where we're going to be. The discussions about hijrah from Diyar al-Islam to Diyar al-Kufr, it didn't exist in that time at all. Nobody had that sense. It's this is home. And we lived in the UK as if it was home. And that's how we were told. The resilience, I think, that his generation had was across the board. I hear it from many people, and I think their resilience prepared, for me, it's prepared me for my life today. If I hadn't had a father who I had, I believe that I would have broken at the first hurdle. Unscripted.